show starts off with Ethan Page. He says that after beating Oro Mensah, there was not a single person that could take the NXT Championship away from him. Not Wes Lee, not Pete Dunne, not even Trick Williams. And after that, take a wild guess who appears. Joe Hendry says Ethan was the hottest star in NXT until he showed up. Ethan asks why is Joe still even in NXT, to which Joe responds to win the NXT Championship. Ethan says he does not believe in Joe Hendry and that if they do end up facing, he's going to expose him for the flash in the pan he is. Joe says that he will make a believer out of Ethan when he beats him for that title, and when he does, he's going to take it everywhere and anywhere he wants. After that, Wesley just spawns out of nowhere and kicks Joe. Like, what is good with bro? I need answers. Answers! After that, we see GM Ava along with Mr. Stone and Stevie Turner. They announced next week there's going to be a gauntlet match to determine who will challenge Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship at No Mercy. And each participant will be chosen at random. The first 3 people selected were Ren Sinclair, Adriana Rizzo, and Sol Ruca. The first match of the show was Charlie Dempsey versus Tony D'Angelo for the Heritage Cup. Tony scores his first point in the second round after hitting a fisherman suplex. In the fourth round, Charlie rolls up Tony to get his first point. And in the fifth round, as Tony is on the second rope, Ren trips him, and Charlie capitalizes by hitting his finisher to become the new Heritage Cup champion, meaning that Tony's reign has come to an end at 90 days. I gotta give him his props. He had a great reign. Backstage, we see Kaylani Jordan and Lola Vice. Kaylani says she wishes she could help Tatum Paxley, but she's not sure where she stands with her, especially after what happened with Wendy Chu. Lola says she'll handle it, but when she goes to talk to her, Tatum starts tweaking and says that no one is her friend, especially not Lola, and says not everyone can be like Lola and just have things handed to her, to which Lola takes offense, setting up a match between the two. The next match was Eddie Thorpe versus Lexis King, but before Eddie can even really start his entrance, he gets attacked by Lexis. The match ends after Lexis attacks Eddie's injured hand and then hits his finisher to get the win. After that, we got a Trick Williams vignette. He says that when a problem comes his way, he solves it and fixes issues. It doesn't matter if he took one loss against Pete Dunne. He wants his rematch and will fully solve this Pete Dunne issue. After that, we get an interview with Pete Dunne, where he says Trick doesn't deserve a rematch, and he is moving on to the NXT Championship. We then see the trio of haters, JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley. And it's clear that people like Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson are sick of it, as they say they don't see him as any more than opponents if they're in the gauntlet match. The next match was Lola Vice versus Tatum Paxley with Kaylani Jordan on commentary. Wendy Chu just spawns out of nowhere and chokes Kaylani out. The match ends after Lola reverses a top rope move from Tatum and hits a spinning back fist to get the win. After the match, as Lola is comforting Tatum, Wendy makes it very clear that she's coming for Kaylani and her title. After that, the final 3 participants for the gauntlet match are chosen: Jada Parker, Kendall Gray, and Carmen Petrovich. After that, Brinley Reese congratulates Carmen, and they start thinking about how they've both been on this journey for about 2 years now. Izzy Dame, who heard all this, said that if anyone deserved to be in the gauntlet match, it was her, and that she hated both Carmen and Brinley 2 years ago, and she hates them now. Okay. After that, we finally got the answers that we needed from Wesley. He says that he thought last week he would be winning the tag titles once again with his best friend, but once again, Zach let him down. He says that this goes back to 2 years ago when Zach first let him down by getting released. He said people were feeling sad for Zach and feeling sorry for Wes, thinking he wouldn't be able to make it on his own as a single star. But instead, he proved them all wrong by becoming the greatest North American champion of all time. And he did all of this while Zach and Trey were off in TNA. And even though they all aspire to achieve greatness together, Wes managed to do it all on his own. He then says he is sick of being a caretaker for Zack, as he was the one driving city to city for their shows. He was the one breaking up fights Zack got into, and he was the one making sure Zack caught all his flights on time. He knows where he wants to go, and he cannot have his best friends riding his success, saying that they came to NXT for the WWE rub. He then says he knows that he and Zack are eventually going to have a match, and that No Mercy sounds like the perfect place to have it at. And when they do have their match, he is going to show Zack no mercy. Pro turns heel one time and start acting like he's in Cobra Kai. And after that, Zack and Trey can have wonderful careers as TNA wrestlers, while he moves on to bigger and better things, like the NXT Championship. And he ends things off by saying, no matter what happens, he wishes Zack the best on all his future endeavors. Oh my God, he cooked him.
Right there, that wasn't no bar. That wasn't no bar. Nigga, listen.
After that, Pete Dunne comes out and says after beating Trick, he has his eyes on the NXT Championship, and Wes isn't going to get in the way of that. Then Joe Hendry spawns out of nowhere. A brawl breaks out between all three, setting up a triple threat #1 contenders match next week. Backstage, we see Chase U preparing for their tag title match. Duke Hudson apologizes to Rich Holland for not trusting him and says it doesn't matter who wins the tag titles as long as they come back home to Chase U. Rich then thanks Thea Hale and the rest of Chase U for believing in him and putting their trust in him. And he is going to do everything in his power to make sure him and Andre Chase win the tag titles. The next match was Obafemi defending his North American Championship against Otis of the Alpha Academy.
No bread, no water, just me.
The match ends after Oba hits the biggest and meatiest powerbomb I've ever seen in my life to retain his title. After that, we see a vignette with Brooks Jensen, and it's clear that he is still following under Shawn Spears. Malik Blade and Idris Enofe, who saw the vignette, figured they should try and help Brooks as they all came up around the same time, and it's clear that he's being manipulated by Shawn Spears. After that, we see the GOATs, Hank and Tank. DJ. Hank said he spoke to Ava, and they have a match next week against the Good Brothers. DJ, you know the drill. The next match was Izzy Dame versus Brenly Reese. The match ends after Izzy hits her finisher to get the win. This man, Ashanti the Adonis, really challenged this guy to a match because he was pulling more girls than him. I can't believe it. The main event was Chase U's Andre Chase and Rich Holland challenging Axiom and Nathan Frazier for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The match ends after Andre pushes Nathan off the top rope and he crashes into the announce table. Axiom hits Andre with the golden ratio, but then Rich Holland hits his finisher, getting the win and becoming the new tag team champions. Meaning that the great tag title reign of Axiom and Nathan Frazier is officially over. This was a great episode of NXT. Some great matches, a great promo from Wesley, an amazing tag title match, and a great moment to end it with Chase U winning the tag titles.